empty the portal, darling, now. She never had a chance. Death quick for a girl, victim of homicide, cutting beam, brutally raped the 5-year-old. She didn't escape her mom and friend, did her in cigarette burns on the stand from her mom and a friend. He had a whip, it's party time. We got a party. It's party time. She never had a chance. Family was sent to jail, set for jail. Her older sister never loved, not for a dime. All night she screams, party time. It's party time. We got a party. It's party time.
Wow.
Monster Mash.
No, the monster. It was a graveyard smash. Speaking of the Addams family, you know, this is spooky number 13. Not to be confused with the guy who works at the tattoo parlor with the number 13 in the web of his hand or on his neck. This is spooky number 13, where we tell scary stories. I could tell the story.
I got a couple scary stories for you tonight.
Oh, good.
But actually, one as I was on my way home.
Okay.
When you pay an absurd amount of rent in New York City, and you have to pay like $5 for eggs, and you have to pretend that's normal, like shit like that.
At the fake health food store.
Yeah, exactly. Like the fucking health food store where the guy has a gun on you the whole time.
Perfect.
One of the only fringe benefits is that when you're from like the Midwest, you get to play it off like everyone here has got like a really elevated taste. It's like, oh, I guess that's cool for flyover states, but that doesn't play in New York. You can do like stupid shit like that.
This must be New York, bro.
Yeah, this is New York, man. That doesn't fly here. Today on my way home, I caught all of you, fucking tasteless assholes that live in New York. Fucking don't let that fucking jerk off fool you. Everyone here is fucking tasteless. Line around the block outside of Irving Plaza for drowning pool. That was some scary shit right there. So I see you fucking tasteless New Yorkers doing that. I see you fucking lining up around the block for Fishbone last week too.
I would line up for Fishbone, but Fishbone played.
Listen, that doesn't play here in New York, all right?
That doesn't play here in New York. No, didn't drowning pool do Let the Bodies Hit the Floor?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what made me think of it. It was the song for like every horror movie that came out that year had that fucking song in it somewhere.
Holy shit.
Jason X had that.
So, okay. So that you've that's gotten off to a really scary start.
Yeah, I just spooked you right away.
Yeah, that's cool. You spooked me all. Jesus Christ. I don't have anything. I don't have a scary story. I could tell, I don't have a recent scary story. I could tell about the time that I had to go to the DNA office to see if I was the father of a child.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That was scary. I told you that story a million times, man. Maybe, but
still fucking chills me to the bone.
Oh, yeah. Well, should I tell the story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fine. A quick story. Justin Kiss he's here, everybody, but he's fixing my pink guitar right now because he is my personal roadie. He's like, I'm like the governor, and he is my Benson. To make a reference that only Andrew and I get.
Mm-hmm.
Quick story. Oh yeah, pretty good show. That's true. Justin Kiss is right on the ball there. Okay. Quick story, scary story, and this gives you, Andrew, enough time to think of another scary story. I don't know if I can top drowning pool, but I'm going to try. This does involve letting the bodies hit the floor at some point. All right, I am working my way out of my apartment living situation in Albany, planning to move to New York City. I had dated a woman who I met at the vitamin store, and we did it a bunch of times. I always kept a bag on. You know, I always rubbered up because that was my biggest fear, and still is my biggest fear, is an accidental pregnancy. So I'm driving to a Borders store to buy magazines one day for maximum verbosity. I will explain every little thing, Sean Duty style. I was driving my '96 Mazda Protege to no. So I was driving there, and she calls me. And she calls me and says, "Hey, can you talk?" And I'm like, I answer the phone, of course, like kind of a dickhead back then. Not that I'm not a dickhead now. And she's like, well, I'm pregnant, and starts crying. And
Life,
the life meter. And I'm like, well, she's like, oh, don't worry, it's not yours. I was like, oh my God. But still, the color's out of my face.
You can't say that to you because you'll still freak out for weeks at a time.
I was freaked out for 6 months at a time. But so it turns out that she got loaded one night and banged some dude at the bar, and just called me for some reason to tell me that she was pregnant, because we had hooked up like literally the same day earlier that day.
Ooh.
Like really bad timing.
How did she know that it wasn't yours? Well, all right,
well,
you know.
I don't know. So she just figured that she'd keep me in the loop. Meanwhile, I'm moving to New York, like then, to live with my girlfriend at the time, who was a sweet woman who I never clued in on the fact that I'm like checking my phone like every 10 seconds, and every time I would get a text, I would have like a mini heart attack, because it would be like, oh, sorry, psych, it's your child. Psych.
Is the cat out of the bag now, though? Is she listened? She knows now?
No, she actually became a world traveler, and we don't talk very much.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah. C'est la vie. So a couple months go by, and I'm living in New York. Andrew, if you remember, we shared a city at one point. I'm living in New York, back and forth. Yeah. And she finally calls me and says, look, he wants a DNA test because we're really not sure whose baby it is. So I'm like, okay. So I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, I got a special band practice at 3 p.m. on Friday in Albany. Yeah. So
Can I come?
Yeah, no. She's like,
it's not the kind of band practice you can come to.
Dude, it was a Friday, so she's like, oh, well, maybe I can come and we can spend the weekend up there. And I'm like, no. And I had to and I'm sure she thought I was on some other fucking cheating shit or some shit, but I wasn't. Not really. I mean, unless I was on some Maury Povich shit. So I drive up there, fucking white knuckling the whole time. I get there way before they do. Fittingly enough, the DNA office is directly behind a Denny's.
Excellent.
Awesome. So I park in the parking lot, go inside, meet her there, and she hugs me, and she's like, no matter what happens, it's going to be okay. And I'm like, no, definitely
so not.
And she's
the exact opposite of what you just said.
And she's showing. Okay, so it's way past the point of no return. Way past the point where we can go. We can go get an abo and a burger. You know what I mean? It's way past the point of that. We can so I'm fucking freaking out that my entire life has come down to a fucking second floor DNA office in Colony, New York. All right, let me fucking drive to Walmart and shoot myself with a shotgun. Get in there, and it's typical sterile office. The place smells musty. It's 1970s architecture. Dude is late, of course, right? Texting her. They get into a text battle. She's on her sidekick in a text battle. She starts texting him normal style, and then when she flips to sidekick, that's how she's digging in for a big fucking argument.
Yeah, you need two hands there.
Yeah, you need two hands. And I'm just I'm standing there literally with my head in my hand, and she's like, don't be so paranoid. And I'm they can't start the meeting until all parties are present. I'm just looking at the guy trying to get a read on him, and he's on it, has a side to us, just look working on his computer or whatever. And I think he's probably writing out you're fucked for the rest of your life, that kind of shit.
Writing you an apology email.
Finally, this dude shows up, and he is dressed like Eminem.
Yeah, weirdly, I pictured Eminem walking in, so I'm glad we're on the same
Slick
page.
back hair. He's got a jersey with a number on it, but it's not from any particular sports team. But it's also not a FUBU. It's just kind of like a Marshalls brand type, in there, like looking really fucking haggard, and I'm like, in one moment we had like that solidarity look, like one of us is getting fucked for the rest of our life.
Here we go, man.
That motherfucker, the doctor, was loving this. I'm sure this dude fucking swims laps in his pool after this shit happens because he loves making people's lives miserable. So he's reading. Yeah, Justin would have laughed his ass off. So I'm like really like freaked out. Everybody's freaked out. Then, so he's like, okay, well, he's reading all this diagnostic stuff to us, and like, I give a fuck, you know what I mean? Like, please just. He's like, oh yeah, you know, and reading about the baby. He's got like a fucking, and then he's finally like, he's like, which one is William? Who's William? And I'm like, okay, is this like your second place? Hans
Yeah, this is how
winner.
Top Chef ends.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
We'll give you the answers right when we get back from commercial.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be like Maury Povich. Right when I get back from
William, you are
commercial.
not the father, which means Hans, you are top dad.
It says, William, you are 100% the father of this child. And I'm like, because I just was imagining, like, I literally saw, like, my life. And that time my dad bought me a yellow bike, my yellow Huffy bike when I was 5 years old. And we lived in Fort Edward in the apartment. And, like, my dad built me, like, a shed and tried to be, like, a good dad. And I'm totally fucked up my life. And then, like, all the shit ran past, you know. My mom taking me to the park and we flew kites. Like, I was thinking about all this shit. And then I think I'm a loser because I ruined my fucking life. And then it's like, and then he said, and then immediately I'm off the hook, and I'm like, and I was totally like not even trying to be like swaggy or anything. I'm like, okay, are we good? And he's like, well, yes, it's just William, and he starts talking to William, and I'm like, I get up and I just open the door and leave.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised you didn't spike a football and Super Bowl shuffle out of there.
Like a reverse fake out.
Yeah.
Hans, you are 100% not the father.
Oh shit! You know. You know?
Dads with that, like,
Oh no! It was I got out and I parked kind of far away because I misinterpreted where the building where I was supposed to be was, and I ran across the parking lot just like when I went to the hooker house. I ran across the parking lot and got in my car and like a comic book fucking sped away like the word vroom came out of my back of my car. And oh my god! So that was literally the scariest moment of my life. Not less. It was scarier than the time we almost died, like a couple times.
Yeah, the one drive where we almost died 3 times.
Yeah. No, that was scarier than when I got a knife pulled on me. Scarier than like a lot of things.
I was thinking about that drive actually a few days ago. The point where the semi-truck tried to merge into us in, I don't remember. I think it was, maybe that was West Virginia, or maybe we were still in Kentucky,
That was right outside of Huntington. I'll never forget that shit.
There you go. And for some reason, it made perfect sense to yell out Stevie Winwood.
Yes!
Even though, as to the best of my knowledge, Steve Winwood not dead from truck merging,
No.
but still.
No, I think it was because I was urging myself to roll with it. And making a very roundabout, like semi-esoteric Steve Winwood reference. Like, Stevie Winwood. Eric Busta loves that story, by the way. Stevie Winwood. And everyone's like looking at me like I'm a total dick. And a piece of Duke, I guess, you know.
Duke, it's a new one.
Duke. You're a fucking Duke. You know, that brings up an interesting story. Not an interesting story, but speaking of words, real quick, one of our Tumblr questions was that... you know, I have like words for like cut. I have words for the vagina, like cutty and putty and gush, bag, burger, slit, rip. These are ones I learned from my father, but my dad loves the term rip. Like, I bet she's got
Thanks, Pop.
Thanks, Pop. I bet she's got a tight rip. He was in the Navy, the Army, and a truck driver. So he's
that's really the trifecta right there.
But he's like, and then the person says, with such a way with words, have you also given your penis a new alias? I think the alias I've given my penis is Beautiful Stranger. I call it because I'm on antidepressant medication, antipsychotic medication, so it doesn't work really. I mean,
Occasionally, you're watching football and it just happens.
The last time, yeah. I mean, really, honestly, I think some football players are sexy, but but it doesn't. My sex drive is like really low, you know. And the last time I beat off was the other day because Miss Delaware put out a porn video, and so I watched it.
Fuck?
Yeah, and the newly crowned Miss Delaware did like a back room, like motel room porno, like not that long ago, and I watched it, and it was my style, where it's like, you know, single camera shoot, faceless fan style, where you don't even see the dude's face, you just see this girl like keeps her clothes on, that kind of thing.
Oh wow,
she was clean shaven, so I wasn't that turned on, but Justin liked that one, but it was neat. I thought it was neat, and I got a little rise in my Levi's. I know, awful. That was a line from a Dr. Hook song, which makes it even worse.
That sounds like your old man talking, though.
My old man,
you got a rise in your Levi's.
Hey, she puts baby makes her blue jeans talk. I'll tell you what, boy. Hey, you make them blue jeans talk, or like in reference to like a woman who has a particularly heart-shaped ass. I like to put Cupid's arrow in between that heart or those buns.
Bob.
I like to put a hot dog in between those buns.
Jesus Christ.
This is like, you know, truck driver plus small town equals telling pussy stories in front of your son at some point, which is cool. Whatever, you know.
I was watching something that Love's Truck Stop today. I watched. Have you ever had a chance to sit down? I didn't catch the name of the show exactly. I think it's just called Navajo Cops.
No, I haven't.
If you have a chance, it's really worth your time. I think it's on Netflix right now. It's, you know, one of those reality shows that are clearly scripted or maybe like reenacted very badly because they're fucking cops. They're not actors. But yeah, there was one where they pulled a shotgun out of a woman's pickup truck at a Love's Truck Stop. She was heading to a casino. Pretty dope.
Oh, great. Wait, did you say a Love's Casino?
No, she was at a Love's Truck Stop where they pulled her over. She was heading to a casino with a loaded shotgun in her truck.
We've probably been around that woman many times.
Without a doubt.
The Love's Truck Stops were always the bottom of the barrel. I would, you know, I knew you guys had a piss, and I know you guys were hungry, but I would always pass the Love's to get to like the Flying J or the Petro or
the Petro is where it's at. There's
Petro.
like 5 Petros, I think, at this point,
Petro
but they're
great.
fucking golden.
And a bonus for Petro, if you go to any Petro in the lower states, figuratively and literally the lower states, they have a copious amount of Confederate flags, which you can purchase and hang up in the back window of your pickup truck.
What we really need to find is when we stopped at a Petro in, I want to say it was 2006.
7. I know what you're talking
at
about.
the checkout, there was a cassette, which, to my estimation, is the very first podcast. We're going to call that the first overnight drive, because that was it. It was way beyond, way before podcasts. It was a guy who was apparently too stupid to have his radio show anymore, and decided that he was going to make his show for truckers on cassette and just sell it directly out of Petro, which is actually a brilliant business model, thinking back. It was tremendous. I would love, somebody must have that, and I would love to find it. Oh my God.
I sadly
the examples
think...
he used when he was arguing against Mexican truckers coming over to the U.S. without a work visa or something to that effect. And he would sit there and straight-faced go, your waitress is helping out Carlos, but Carlos only has pesos. Like, it was stunningly good.
It's like, you have to wait in a toll line for hours because Carlos only uses pesos. Yeah, that was really awesome. I forget. And I remember even in the embryonic state of, even back then, the embryonic state of the internet research-wise, I tried to like Google the the guy's name and the cassette and even like the Matrix number on the cassette, and I just couldn't find any information, and it's so sad that that's lost, because I think we could just put that up as a podcast.
Oh, without a doubt.
'Cause that dude-
it's there somewhere. It exists, but it is off the grid 100%.
It's like a mix between Art Bell and like the Believer's Voice of Freedom.
Yeah.
And like they talk about religion, they talk about like the lonely life of a trucker, keeping between the yellow lines, don't get white line fever, always keep the sunny side up, that kind of shit. But then I also sort of get really racial on Mexicans, like Mexican truckers who are like, you know, who are like taking everybody's cheap freight and bringing it up to Canada, you know, and they don't have a driver's license, and they don't know how to speak English, and they have like diminutive bodies that, you know. Like that kind of shit, really like weirdly xenophobic, racial shit.
The best part is they jumped right into it. There was
Oh,
no
yeah.
like easing you in. They just got right to it.
Oh yeah, well I mean I could figure. I mean if I was like a Yahoo trucker, I'd be like right on. You know, I would.
Oh, without a doubt.
I would put it in and break it off as far as the cassette deck goes. You know.
I wonder if your old man has it. I wonder if he found it in your car
You know-
after JVU broke down and he's just hoarding it.
To my father's credit, he told me that he would disown me if I became a trucker, because there was a couple years, lean years there, where I was like, you know, I like driving. Why don't I just become a fucking trucker? And
I remember this actually.
you do. I was talking.
Yeah.
Oh, remember when I bought like the trucker gloves and I was real serious for that one tour? I got us arrested outside. I got us pulled over outside of Wawa, and I thought it was like a good idea to pull into like an industrial park.
Oh, Jesus
Like,
Christ.
He's like, hey, what are you guys doing driving around the industrial park? I was like, I don't know. We're not from around here. And I remember Sean Duty still eating his sandwich, like devour. Everybody hated me that night. That was great. Still driving.
And we never got pulled over for any sort of like real shit though. Never got a speeding ticket. We got that one LA parking ticket because there was no place to park and we knew it. But the only other time I remember is after that show when we were listening to something, or we were listening to like fucking, I don't know,
It was
Heaven 17 or something.
Yep.
And you started dancing, and a cop pulled in behind us because you were, quote, acting the fool.
Yeah, a cop who looked like fucking Marcellus Wallace from Pulp Fiction pulled up. And that I remember that was in, like, I think, Nutley, New Jersey. Or
Yep.
somewhere. Some shithole fucking in New Jersey. I don't know. Sorry, New Jersey people. Phillipsburg? I don't know. And our cassette deck hadn't worked at all the entire time. And then you got it to work. You had the magic touch. And I was like, oh my God, awesome. And like 27-year-old me is like jumping up. And remember I had that shiny purple, like, you know, first down fucking jacket with like the fur collar.
Oh, yeah.
That was good. That was really bringing in all the ladies. That was perfect. And oh God. And I start dancing, and he comes up. He's like, is everything okay around here? And I'm like, oh, officer, I'm just acting the fool.
Oh, that's right. You said acting the fool. That's right.
And for some reason, I thought I'd like do black talk because he's a black guy. That's how stupid I was and am.
It worked out pretty well.
It worked out well. He's like, you know, he probably just thought I was like a dumb cracker, which is also true.
Also true, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, okay, we'll just make sure, you know. And I was like, he's like, where are you guys headed? And I'm like, back to Albany. He's like, well, you better get going.
Yeah, oh, that's right. We got run out of town.
Yeah, and never come back to Nutley, New Jersey ever again. Don't worry about it, dude.
Yeah, all right. I'll see what I can do about that.
I was planning on coming back from like my wedding. like really, so you can mark it down.
Jesus. So, for your end, what are people freaking out about this week?
Oh my God! Well, there was a big gun control rally or anti-gun control rally in Albany today. That people were all the dudes that I used to be in Boy Scouts with, who have recently added me on Facebook. Like, hey, there's that crazy dude who showed us shit porn when we worked at camp together, which is true, by the way. That's a good story to tell, actually. Real quick, I showed they were showing like Die Hard or some movie in the lodge for all the staff. And meanwhile, I got this movie called Piss and Shit Party.
Very good.
And it was like a shit porn, and people were like, you know, it became like word around camp, because I was a cook at the camp, and we all worked there. And we had this one big lodge where we all stayed, and I put the VCR on. I was like, yo, I'm showing that shit porn tonight, dude. And it was literally just women, those German porn, obviously, and women shitting on each other, people pissing on each other, and then people fucking. There were like 30 people in our cabin, and no one showed up to the movie. So they came looking for us, and the leader of the camp and his number one, his fucking, Geordie LaForge drone next to him, walked in as we were watching the shit porn, and the dude's name was Steve, and someone just says, Steve! And I ran up, and I didn't turn the TV off. I just pressed stop on the VCR. And so I'm just standing up there in front of like 30 people with a fuzzy screen behind me, and I turn around and I'm like, "Oh hey, yeah, Steve, I'm just telling stories here to everybody." But the great part was the next day, for lunch, for dessert, I served lemonade and brownies.
It's adorable. Very, very topical.
Very topical.
Fucking cheeky.
And everyone's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe you did that. It's so gross. And thinking back on it now, I was showing it to like counselors in training, like 14, 15-year-old dudes. So like maybe I could have went to, Warren County Jail at some point for that. But, unfortunately, fortunately, it just all became folklore back then.
That's topical for what my freaking out thing is, but go right ahead.
You got shit and pissed on?
Can't say.
Oh my God. Okay. Other than that, people are freaking out about gun control. That girl is still missing. No, I didn't abduct her.
Oh, really? Jesus.
Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion that a former roommate killed her, but
also makes sense.
Yeah,
also topical.
Also
topical.
Okay, so Andrew,
all right.
you've teased this, so please
for
tell
the first time, I think ever, definitely ever doing this show, people are freaking out on Facebook, based mostly on my personal research.
Okay.
Earlier today, I got to work. I was the only one there. I think like a song came on or something reminded me of living in this old punk house I lived in like 1997, 98, like a long ass time ago.
That was on West Street. I remember that house.
Yep, yeah. West Street. Yeah, you. I think you went in there to get your amp once or something, or pick up your roommate who was too drunk to drive.
Yeah, because I lived with that girl, and I lived on Washington Avenue, which is kitty corner to your street, and you borrowed my PV bass amp without asking, so you guys could do a police line show, and then I went to get my amp.
I did pay you back though by messing up your kitchen and not cleaning it up.
Yes, and but sweet revenge, because I remember going with my roommate to your house once, and I saw that there was a white towel that somebody wiped their ass with in front of the house, and I turned around and walked away. So that's a little bit of crust punk Andrew living for you. Picture in your mind's eye that.
Yeah, let this get very vivid for you. Probably right around the same era.
Yes, of course.
So
let's hear it.
I started to think about, former roommates. There were some real weirdos that were there.
Sure.
And I just started to, look them up. Like, oh, what's this guy doing? What's this guy doing? We had, a guy who went to jail for burglary who's, trying to turn his life around. So I couldn't find him. Either he did or he didn't. I'm not sure.
Wasn't there some dude who was in a riot in England and beat up a cop and got sentenced to jail for, 30 years?
That was a dude who went to England, hit a cop over the head with a shovel.
Yeah, and he was on camera doing it.
Went to his trial and then booked it, and as far as I know, is still on the run, but he can't leave England because he'll get caught. So as far as I know, he's still just who knows.
At some point I'd swim to France or something. Jesus Christ!
Like I said, who the fuck knows? That dude could be very much in jail right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of shifty characters like that. But one of my roommates that I looked up was. She was going to school for dolphins or some shit, biology.
Of course, yeah.
But would make money by being a dominatrix.
I know exactly who you're talking about. And she backed into my fucking car one time, and I insisted my roommate call her. I know exactly who that is.
Get ready for this one then.
Okay.
So, I'm like, I wonder what happened to her. So I'm scrolling through, and I didn't remember her last name, so I had to, luckily her first name is distinct, so it took me some tries, but I managed to. I just lost. There we go. Sorry, I just lost video.
Okay.
It took me some tries, but I managed to figure it out, and it came up with two really interesting words next to it on the Google search.
Oh no!
It came up with first name, last name, sex offender.
Holy fuck, dude!
No way! There's no way. I live a very good life. I don't fuck people over. I don't steal shit. There's no way my life is this good though. So I click on it, and sure as shit,
No way.
registered convicted sex offender. I emailed the link to Sean Duty for just to confirm. Like, Sean Duty, I might be high as shit. You gotta let me know if this is like legitimate or if I'm just I just don't know what's happening anymore. As it turns out, and I guess allegedly, or maybe not allegedly, I don't know. I mean, just convicted. I guess maybe this shit happens. But I like to give people I know the benefit of the doubt. Allegedly took advantage of a 14-year-old student as a teacher.
Wow, you got to be really hard up to want to bang a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, she was definitely a little messed up, a little touched, as I say.
She's got the touch, exactly. Holy shit.
Best part is she lives 2.5 blocks from me.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, like I could definitely walk over there right now and be like, "Can I interview you about this? What's going on?"
Get her on the next podcast, no question. And
I could not possibly want to do anything less.
No, you know what? It's really cool when I go down there again. We do the Sean Duty files, which is great. By the way, it's going to be really fun. That's when we play scenario with him. Now that we got all the heavy shit out of the way, it's time to have some fun with Sean Duty. That'll
be a good one.
Or try to, because that motherfucker's cool.
Yeah, no fun duty.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah. He's about as fun as jerking off with sandpaper. I must be like in this weird zone where I just have absorbed the spirit of my hometown, because I'm saying some like really awful shit, dumb shit.
I wouldn't trust that for a miracle.
Oh my God, the best Glens Falls-ism ever. I didn't trust that Obama. I wouldn't trust him for a miracle.
All right.
Talk about getting super hyper regional. I wouldn't trust you, Andrew. I'm sorry, man, but after all the shit we've been through, I wouldn't trust you for a miracle.
It's understandable.
However, I do not trust Sean Duty for a miracle. Let's get that out.
Definitely not.
In the spirit of this spooky podcast, I will say that for some reason.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so I sent that to one person who lived there with just the message like, "You're welcome," or something to that effect. And it began to snowball.
Oh, boy.
And it became this weird, like, sort of reunion for a few of the people that were there.
The people who survived.
And I feel bad because it's not like she was like, well, maybe she was a bad person, I don't know, but
she backed into my fucking car and she took off.
Did back in your car. Never fired a firearm at me. Never actually she threw a burrito at Sean Duty. I was going to say never threw anything at me, but
wait, stop. She threw a burrito at Sean Duty. Please tell the story.
Well, she threw a burrito. I wasn't there for it, but apparently she threw a burrito at Sean Duty because he didn't like a friend of hers. So it was really like I was gonna say, unhinged stuff.
That is the way to Sean Duty's heart, through his stomach. So maybe she was trying to make a bold move toward the Sean Du.
It's possible. There was it was a revolving door for guests of that house.
Wow,
I remember once we had a band stay over, and I hate putting people's business out there, but it was just too good.
Great.
But, I remember she slept with some dude in the band, and somebody was like, "Yeah, but there's another dude in there, just like hanging out." And I'm like, really? Wow, it's fucking interesting and weird.
Yeah,
all right, God bless.
See, I get off on that shit. I like being watched.
There you go. Maybe that was her thing.
I can't get anyone to agree to that ever, though. The closest thing
that's a tall order.
The closest way I ever got, that girl from Seattle who was terrible, but we did do it on chat roulette an awful lot. Mm-hmm. This was in the Wild West, chat roulette, when dudes would just
anything goes.
Anything goes. These dudes. I mean, dudes would just beat off and say like "fuck her harder," like shit like that.
Did they find a way around that? I mean,
I don't know. It was at one point. I think at that time it was about 3 years ago. So it was like anything goes, you know. Then I think you had an option to report the person, but it took a little bit of time. I don't know, but it was we got a lot of mileage out of that chat roulette. But other than that, I haven't found, and plus it's hard because you find it's not like, hey, Andrew, would you like to come to Albany and watch me have sex with this girl? Andrew, one of my best friends, or Justin, one of my best friends, or somebody. I wouldn't ask, I wouldn't ask you guys to watch me have sex, but I don't trust anybody else. So it's
I mean, I wouldn't judge if you did, but I would also strongly rebuff you. Sorry, man, it's not gonna happen.
Remember when we were in Atlanta and I was trying to make out with that girl, and I kept I was saying the dumbest pickup lines to her, and you were like, "Just go to sleep." Remember that?
Vaguely, was that the same night? There was a night in Atlanta where that really drunk kid was walking around and tried to steal the bed I was sleeping on in the middle of the night.
That was earlier Atlanta. That's when we put Atlanta on the blacklist for a couple of years. When you were in the sleeping bag and the dude came in and tried to pull you out of pull the sleeping bag off you because he's like, "I think that's mine. I think that's my sleeping bag."
Yeah, it was that dude that every fucking house show has that one dude they wish would just go home and wouldn't show up. He's like maybe like a little autistic or something. And just didn't understand subtext, you know?
Yeah, he was
that
there,
was rough.
We ended up staying in the house with all of them, and I slept in our van, and our van was so dirty that I got physically sick.
I remember that.
And I was like, we were stopping at I was like, I got really heavy with everybody. I'm like, look, I need to get zinc lozenges, okay? It was like, look, and then I got all pissed off because I was sick, and I kept talking about how my body was betraying me, like I was on a spiritual trip. And wow, I was a really cool dude. I don't know how you lasted so long with me in the back.
I honestly, I remember that morning being one of the worst tour mornings because we got up at 6 and got the fuck out, and it was freezing even though we're in Georgia, and we couldn't find a place for Eric to get coffee, so he was bummed. You were sick. I was tired. It was rough.
Eric Boosted did need his coffee in order to function.
Oh yeah.
He got very. I remember I gave him a protein bar with caffeine in it once, and he was like, "I love it. We need to get more of those." And then he was he got bummed when we couldn't go get more of those. It was really the Atlanta I'm talking about. Remember there was a heavy metal girl, and there was a couple other girls, like a house full of girls living there, and there was and you guys were all sleeping on the floor, and it was on the Cruel Hand, the Have Heart tour.
Yeah.
And you remember that now? And we
I do. Yep.
There was that girl who was wasted, and there was me and this other dude trying to work her. It was so pathetic. Neither of us are gonna, this girl's like, ah. But I was sitting on the couch with her, and Joe, dude, he just keeps looking at, getting up and looking at me like, we need sleep. We need to, be a well-oiled machine. And you just keep rolling around, which I know you value your sleep because you can't sleep that well. But
that's correct.
Oh fuck. So I don't get it happening with her. But foreshadowing, that's the night that our van oil pressure gauge broke, and I also started texting this girl, and she halfway through texting her 10 times, and she's like, "Yeah, I was really drunk. I'm not sure who you are." But after texting me for an hour, which is shitty,
I guess it's a pleasant surprise on her end. Maybe.
Well, then I also added her on Facebook and talked to her every time she signed on chat.
Very good. How'd that end?
No, really, she deleted me.
There you go.
Which is a shitty move, because all I'm trying to do is make some networking connections.
I think you should try to add her again. For the sake of the podcast, get down there.
As a true tour dude, I don't remember her name, bro. There's so many fucking hound dogs out there on the road. I just don't remember. It's.
I don't really remember the house we stayed in that night. I remember all those bits and pieces, but yeah, there's a big scene missing card there. I think either the day before or the day after that, I got really, really sick. There was that one day where I just had a fever, was just really not doing well, and it was right around then.
That's true. That was the day after that. That was the same day that Bob Shed lost my shoes.
Oh, that's right.
I had them on top of the van, and he had to drive to Taco Bell.
You had to go to Taco Bell.
And he lost my shoes, and he just gave me a deal with it. And I was like, cool. He lost my fucking shoes. I had to go. I think I had to go to the local, downtown, wherever we were. I had to go to the Gap and buy plastic boat shoes that they sell for $70. I was so pissed.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, really good. Good life, boy. I tell you, when I talk about touring this way, I don't miss it at all. Actually.
Yeah, maybe we're just framing this the wrong way.
Did I ever... Oh, yeah, I finished talking about what I call my penis, beautiful stranger. Speaking of penis, Andrew, I have a story to tell.
This should be good.
This might require a drum roll.
I'll go find that clip of Eric Boost again.
Are you ready? I got some sweet jug last night.
Is that right?
I did.
Episode 13. All right.
Hey! Don't sweat the technique, as a great man once said. I met her on OkCupid that day, like yesterday.
Wow. All right. Moving fast.
Yeah, I only know her as, she would sign her OkCupid emails Lefty. So that's and that's how I come to know her. And that's how I came to know her. I'm gonna make it short and sweet, okay? Because right now I am high on the hog, okay? All you motherfuckers who've been waiting around asking me, why doesn't this guy get action? Look, I got it, man. I did it once, and it lasted like 4 minutes, and it was amazing for me. Okay, I got in that gully. I got the jelly leg going. I got all that shit. The jelly roll.
What was the one they said? Nuts deep in guts.
The one
I learned in England. That was real good.
Up to my nuts and guts, man. Okay, it was cool. Just talking. I was like, hey, we should hang out, and I met her downtown, and she talked about like she likes like Latin music, and I was like, well, that's cool, let's listen to that. And we did, and I went in because I was such a Wyatt Earp style desperation where I'm just kind of walking into like a gun battle, like just similar to the situation, and in this kind of the same neighborhood as the Hooker House. And then she's like really young, like 23 maybe, which is kind of my wheelhouse, unfortunately. Yep. Sadly. I mean, I wish there was more of a story, but we just started making out, and then I was like, I'm gonna go for it. I don't even care. And it was, but as I lay there though, she was in total control. She was on a little bit of wine from dinner, and she just
Carlo went for the good stuff.
Well, as a similar theme in my life, no, it was just some cheap shit, but. We had to walk across the park to get back to her flat, her apartment. And wham bam, thank you, ma'am. We listened to side A and side B of an album. Did it. And then I realized I feel very exposed because I don't look good with my clothes off. I feel very exposed when I'm laying in somebody's bed. Right after, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but right after we did it, she started smoking a lot of weed, and started getting really sleepy. So I'm like, hey, that's awesome, and we should hang out again, cool. And then she's just like, yep, and like, but I did. I got some jelly roll on the second floor of a shitty apartment house in Albany. So go me. My drought. Right. The drought is
We're restarting
over.
The clock.
Restarting the clock. Back in the saddle again. I feel like a new man. This is going to turn into a great relationship. I can just feel it in my bones. We're going to live our lives together in perfect harmony. And she's going to
The best part is for the next 2 weeks, every time your phone rings, you're going to have a heart attack again.
Andrew, it's already started, my friend. It's already started. Even though I used a rubber, and I pulled out before I ejaculated.
Doesn't make a difference.
Doesn't make a difference.
Too late.
There's that scientific thing where it's like, well, what if one sperm got out? And
just a single one can change your life.
I come from a hardy peoples. One sperm might be enough, man. Like we're a tough breed. Hardcore, persistent Germans. It makes me nervous, and if she's out there listening, because I told her about the podcast, just let me know. Don't do that Jezebel fucking thing where you don't let them know, and then you do that other shit. Just let me know, girl. Okay. I was gonna
do something really mean and text you and be like, "We need to talk."
Would be. Hold on. I
did already text you.
Holy fuck! I just got a text, dude. Hold on. Oh, you asshole! I just freaked out a little. Oh, you're such a dick. Please text me that. Andrew just texted me life in all caps. Fuck. Holy shit. Okay. Well, anyway, last 15 minutes of this podcast, maybe we should read some Tumblr questions, Andrew. Or do you have a similar story where you cheated on your girlfriend and hooked up with an OkCupid girl?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
All good on this end.
Okay. Well, good on this end.
We got a lot of Tumblr questions.
Okay,
here.
so what do we got here? We got a ton more since we've been talking, so I'm totally disoriented.
There's like a lot.
Yeah, 277. Should we dive in?
Yeah, go for it. Pick your favorite.
Okay. Which one of you is a nicer dude? I feel like Andrew seems nice, yet somewhat prickly, and Hans seems really nice and open, yet perhaps the truth is actually the other way around. I'm gonna let Justin Kiss answer my end. Who's the nicer dude, Andrew or I?
Oh, you're both great.
He just says we're both great, which is a pussy answer, bro. No, he's in World of Warcraft. He's in his zone.
I'm not playing World of Warcraft. I'm trying to fix your goddamn guitar for
He's trying to fix my guitar for me. Hey, the pink guitar is getting fixed. All right, guys. I know the world is waiting for my pink guitar to be getting
I'm
fixed.
so fucking excited.
It is. The world is waiting. It's going to be. I had a sketchy deal at the Crossgates Mall food court yesterday. I bought 2 DiMarzio pickups from a teenager for $15.
Very good.
There we go.
I love a sketchy Craigslist deal. It's my favorite.
Oh, it's the best. And I always meet them at the food court just to make it extra sketchy.
Oh, yeah. It's like fucking you pretend you're in Jackie Brown like the last fucking 4 hours of that movie.
Oh, it was great. And it looked really shady because he had them in a brown paper bag, and I gave him cash, and he walked away. So it was absolutely perfect. Andrew, how would you answer that? Which one of us is nicer? Because I think, let's put it in the tour scenario. Now,
You are 100% nicer than me in any tour or non-scenario, without a doubt.
That's true, because you are kind of a prickly dude.
Yeah, you'll sit and you'll talk to somebody you want to deal with. After like 5 minutes of my time, I'm inclined to be like, all right,
Remember, I would like.
you're a hick. Get away from me.
Yeah, remember, I would talk to like complete strangers. Like we'd play some like hick show in Connecticut, and I would be like, talk to him forever. Oh yeah, you guys did a G.G. Allen cover. That's amazing. Let's talk about draft beer. Let's talk about and you're like cashed out completely. We were better than. Yeah, we were probably. I was probably the nicest. I appreciate whoever wrote that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll straight up shit on you if I'm just not if I'm not feeling you, man. Like, sorry.
Yeah, I'll call you a man-child. You are beneath me. That's the whole onus behind you are beneath me. We genuinely thought and continue to think that people are beneath us.
I just got logged out of Tumblr. God damn it.
All right. Oh well, I'm gonna jump in then. Boom. Hans. Now I think the same person is writing all of these because it's the same. They have like the same punctuation on every one, but Hans,
excellent.
What is the way to successfully be with a lot of women sexually, as you have while still being a nice guy like you, I assume, are? Awkward sentence, but hey.
Maybe they're from Nairobi.
Maybe they're from Nairobi. Yo, I don't know how you do things in Nairobi, bro, but it's called, I've been fucking since I was 15, and I'm now 35, so I've got 20 years of desperate padding, prying, prodding, internet, like IMing 3 a.m. Hey, what are you doing? Writing girls on MySpace and then Facebook, like these long, flowery messages about how I'm more awesome than I actually am. The aforementioned OkCupid hookup. This is what I'm trying to say is it's actually a terrible existence. It doesn't make me feel good to have anonymous sex at all. But for some reason, I feel like some weird societal pressure to do it because I was overlooked when I was younger by women. It's not great. I'm not with a lot of women now. This back in the saddle thing's not going to last, considering I don't know her name. Our only contact is on OkCupid. She gave me her address. It's, I don't know. It's not great. I would much rather have like one girl that I could just have a bunch of good sex with instead of like a chorus of trollops that I have 4-minute sex with.
I'm seeing good things for you and this girl in your future.
Yeah. Oh, this girl. You think this girl on OkCupid is really gonna make the mix on me?
This might be the one.
This might be the one. Oh my God! And I would make her live with me. I wouldn't allow her to work because there might be men at her job. And then I wouldn't let her leave the house unless she was wearing ugly clothes, and I would have to be with her, and she couldn't really leave at all. And I would control her Facebook and accounts, and her phone. Just kidding. Just
really
kidding.
Getting wild.
You like the tone? I was trying to make it scary for number 13. You like the tone of voice? That's
actually very good. Well done.
Yeah, people say I could be a good actor. I don't think that's true. Although people have said I sound like Philip Seymour Hoffman. So
We need to get a producer for this show. We need to have a third party here that controls all this shit, because I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the volume control of, me talking. I'm looking at questions here. I only got one brain. I can't do this much.
Who's going to be our producer? Justin, would you like to be our producer?
There you go.
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. That's exactly the response I
Not
thought I'd
really.
get.
Damn. But Justin's the only person I trust in my life.
I know.
He's fixing my guitar is in pieces right now, and he's trying to fix it. That's how much I
Are you
trust him.
privately freaking out right now about your guitar being in pieces?
No, you know me. The thing's never been set up, so I don't really freak
that's
out
true.
about it. It's just I just like it.
All right, what else we got in this list here? Let's see.
Are you back in?
Oh, this is a weird one. All right. Handrew, I'm 29, dating a girl who's about 7 years younger than I am. We've been together for a year, and I like her, but now that we're discussing moving in together, I'm worried about the disparity in our finances.
Ugh.
She comes from an affluent, extremely successful family and is pretty much set for life. I work at a restaurant and never finished college. We really care for each other, but my gut feeling is at some point this will fall apart over this class disparity.
Love it.
Then again, I'm often a paranoid weirdo and capable of feeling joy. Thoughts?
Well, here's the deal. I've been in this situation, and when you say that she is pretty much set for life, I want you to turn that into we are pretty much set for life.
Yeah.
You want to
This
ride...
isn't like a fucking 1980s movie.
No. Honestly, and it's cool because this is a dual thing where you're essentially going to live off daddy's money. He's going to give you a job at the firm or, the fucking furniture store he works for or what the fuck ever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're serious about, 29, whatever. And then, but also this will be the litmus test because if she brings up money, like, why didn't you do more? You should get a second job. Break up with her immediately because she's a shallow, petty bitch.
Or it's not even that. Like, fucking go ahead and get your job, do your thing. Having, a job that makes, okay money that you'd be scraping to live by otherwise, and not having to worry about scraping by and just having, fucking $28,000 a fucking year to play with is pretty awesome.
That's amazing. That's great.
And not to mention, just be awesome. How hard is it to be awesome? It's not that difficult,
I think a lot of these insecure questions just boil down to be awesome.
Just be awesome. It's not hard.
Yeah, I mean, make her come twice and she won't care how big you're not.
It gets me every time.
Gets me every time. No, I honestly, my man, don't worry about it. If she really loves you, I know it sounds corny, but if she really loves you, and she won't give a shit about that stuff. In fact, you should make fun of her about being a rich kid. See how that works out for you.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be like, oh, I would really like to buy these groceries, but you probably should because you have a credit card in your dad's name. And I shouldn't buy anything. You've got the daddy black card. Okay. What else?
What do you got here?
Well, we've got a follow-up from the OkCupid stalker. He says he didn't mean to weird anyone out. He was just bored as fuck. He's since deleted the OkCupid account, which I find sad. Because I now know who it is, and he's a really cool guy. I seem to get matched exclusively with mallcore girls and the occasional hyper-religious obese girl. I think.
I assume that's always like that.
He asks, should he have stuck with it? Absolutely, considering I just got some gush off the fucking OkCupid, some anonymous jug. Okay.
There you go.
Look, I also think mallcore girls are cute. You got the double piercing in the lip and the and
Trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger warning. You got the. That's right. God damn. I like that part where Sean Duty was the most mad that the fact that the girl I left the tour for wasn't hot in any way.
Oh, that's right. Really wasn't.
He's like, that's so. Yeah, he's like, I love when he rubs it in. He's like, she really wasn't. I was like, okay. Okay, man. I can't wait to come down for 15 or we just give Sean Duty the fucking screws, man. Somebody wrote, and I answered in a snarky way and deleted it, but they said that the podcast is turning into a stale fart. I mean,
yeah, I saw that.
And then I deleted it because I wrote something snarky back and I deleted it because that's not my style. But first of all, lick my shit if it really bugs you. There's an unfollow button on the top right corner, and you never have to worry about it again. But if you want to hang in, just take the good, take the bad. Take the good, you take the bad. I can't speak tonight because I'm on amphetamines. just deal. You know, I mean, sometimes we're going to be, you know, sometimes we're just going to have hubbub. It's like you're riding in the van with us, and sometimes we're just going to talk about like boners or like Italian disco for an hour, and you're just going to have to deal with it. We can't, you know, it's not always sunshine. Sometimes there's rain. As you know, this Kansas City Chiefs told CFL star Casey Printers while he was getting released in 2005. Sometimes you have to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. And sometimes you don't.
That's bold.
Yeah. Obscure HBO Hard Knocks reference, if anybody got that.
I mean, when I saw that, the whole thing is like, and this is always my reaction to those things, is you maybe should go listen to the Transformers 3 soundtrack.
Yeah.
I think you'll enjoy that more.
Or we could always fall back to...
I can't do bombast all the time. I can't do intros and cute things. What I can do is sit with my friend and have a conversation, and you can choose to enjoy it or choose to enjoy Transformers 3.
Yeah, or I can always fall back to the point of there's a man in this world right now, or a woman, who's just realized he's eaten poison and is about to die.
I said that to somebody today.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh shit, I ate poison. Oh fuck, and I'm dead. So, you know, fucking... pump the brakes on that bullshit. All right, go hang out on fucking BMX.com or some dumb bullshit like that, or put your Beats by Dre headphones on. I think that's what I'm gonna use that as one of my main shade throwing references. I'm gonna say, well, go put your Beats by Dre, or you know, practice your posse jumps in the mirror, or do whatever the fuck people do. Have fun with that. Okay.
What else we got? I'm digging through the archives here. I'm really going deep.
Well, I got a quick one.
All right.
Hans, please detail your first experience playing with somebody else's butthole. My girlfriend recently let me start touching and licking hers. That shit is dope. Buttholes, man. When you say that shit is dope, are you talking about actual excrement that is left over inside and around her butthole? I've only done that once. It was with the girl in Seattle, and it was really fucking gross.
Yeah, really not my thing.
I couldn't believe how awful it was, and I've eaten a lot of gross things, and I've done a lot of gross things, and it was just I felt the lowest. It was the culmination of everything that I had feared that it would be.
You wished you could have joined the army.
I wish I could have. My life flashed in front of me, and I said, "Motherfucker! I should have just joined the army and went to Bosnia." Which I haven't said in a while, but I had that moment, you know, and it was like shitty relationship plus literally shitty relationship because she wasn't fresh, so the ass was a little
gamey.
Yeah, a little gamey. It was a little fruitful at that moment, and it was just like
oh, this is fucking awful.
Yeah, this is awful. And I talked a lot about shit in this.
Yeah.
Are we gonna go to you know what? I'm gonna go to the very first number, the first out of 277. I'm gonna go all the way down.
You're just scrolling.
I'm scrolling, bro.
I'm gonna do this one while you're scrolling because this came up a few times this week. Addressed to me, Andrew. What are your top 3 worst experiences as a sound guy, both in terms of the music and the attitude of the band?
Yeah.
Realistically, too numerous to count. They've all become this one quilt of pain that I've worn for years and years, and it's ruined music for me. Absolute worst though was December 31st, 2009, I think, or 8. One of the New Years that we weren't playing, which are rare.
Yeah.
I was doing sound for, I forget the name of the band, but it was a benefit for the Albany Roller Derby League.
Was it
what's that?
Was it Cat Ass Juice?
It was not. It may as well have been Cat Ass Juice, but it wasn't.
Okay.
It was a band they just found on MySpace. We're like, hey, do you want to play this? And they said, yeah, sure.
Always a good
this
formula.
roller derby benefit had 9 people show up, 8 of which were roller girls. So it was just like me and a bunch of like fucking deformed looking women. And the band starts to play. They're awful. They're really bad. Guy who sings, gotta be, 300, 330 pounds, a really, really big dude.
Great.
Comes out painted red and blue with just wearing a Speedo. So his entire looks like a fucking like a football fan you see in The Simpsons. They start playing really bad music and they just like are throwing shit around because there's 8 people there. Who cares? And the guitarist gets off stage and throws a chair, which goes through the wall. And I'm like, all right, fuck this. I get out of the sound booth, and I go and I grab the kid by the back of the neck, and I walk him over. And as I start to shout, like, look what you did to my wall, or something to that effect, the painted guy assumes I'm fighting him, comes over and proceeds to pummel the shit out of me.
Oh, my God.
Like, dude is so big, there's no, like, I could have had a baseball bat, and it would have been, like, closer to an even fight. It was ridiculous.
Jesus.
So I am now being punched in the face by this guy, now covered in grease paint. And
Oh, my God.
Like, I didn't even bother trying to fight back. I just got away from him. I'm like, all right, that's that. I go downstairs. I go to Ray. I'm like, yo, shut this shit down. I'm done. I'm out.
No kidding.
I walk outside, and at that moment, it strikes midnight. And that's my first moment of the new year. Is being
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
covered in paint, like nursing a fucking punch in the mouth and being like,
I
New Year to me, man.
remember when you told me
was
about
it.
that, and you were just as incredulous as you are now. Like,
yeah, it was something else.
ugh.
So yeah, that was probably my worst experience as a sound guy. Maybe not even, to be perfectly honest. 'Cause
No,
there was
no.
also we'll get into it some other time. Maybe I'll share a new bad experience every week as they come to me.
Well, there was that one time we played with the Firebird Band, and you had to run a show upstairs and then run down and play bass for like 20 minutes and then run back upstairs.
That
was-
happened numerous times. I
Yeah.
could use an extra hand to have to count all the times. I've had either run down and play or run down and mix two shows at once.
Yeah, it was good.
Something else.
That was awesome.
On the other hand, I am fucking extremely talented behind the board, apparently.
You are. No, that's really good. It's the sound guy at Valentine's Now. Oof, forget it.
No, good. That's a shame.
Yeah, well, that's a shame.
All right. Well, that's a long answer to a short question.
Yeah. Here's a good one. Who was the least sane and alternately the most reasonable member of End of a Year when you both were in the band together? Well, I mean, I was secretly, and we found out later, I was the least sane.
Yeah, you held it together good, though.
I did. Least sane for a long time was Sean Duty.
Without a doubt. Sean
Well,
did least sane. I think still to this day.
Amp puncher, complainer, crybaby bitch ass. Eric Busta had his moments. He was a builder upper. He was like a pressure cooker. And then we'd be in Ventura, California, and he'd like slam a door in your face and he'd be like, "Oh well, that's what happened with that." Patrick was always.
I remember one day he was on the phone. We were trying to leave. I think we were in Minneapolis. We were trying to leave, and he was like on the phone. And I said some shit that's like funny cruel.
Yeah.
And he was just really not having it. And it turned out his grandmother broke her back. And he was like getting the news on the phone. And I'm like, come on, let's go.
But that's how we were. We're like, hey, who you talking to, man? Your fucking girlfriend? He wants to leave you alone so you could jerk off. And meanwhile, he's being told his grandmother fell down and broke her back. That's the way you were. It was like being in the fucking Marines, man. You had to be tough. When you were with us, none of that pussy shit. We took one of his friends on a tour with us once, and that motherfucker was complaining and crying because he lost his salmon in the van. Remember that, motherfucker?
Salmon never returned either.
Never
We found
returned.
it.
I don't know. I think someone actually got in the van and stole the salmon because he got some like dried salmon jerky, and he's like, "I'm going to save this up for a special occasion." And we had
we were all really excited for him to break out of the fucking like salmon jerky in the car too. That would smell fucking delicious.
so back then, that's when we were like young bucks, and we're like, we're going to drive from Tacoma to L.A. tonight, and like so that's what we did, and he was crying, man. He
It was rough for him.
He caught a case. That was rough. Patrick was always like the even keel like Zen guru who would just fall asleep in the back of the van and fart. That was about it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't really lose his mind. I only saw him lose his mind when I lost my mind. So maybe we were of one mind.
Mm-hmm. That's yes. Fucking the rifts are apparent.
Yeah. Which let me just put it out there. We've had many requests for Patrick on the podcast, and I would love nothing more, because I think it would be interesting to get him into our world and how we operate and see if he can live. This is our world now. You're just a squirrel looking for a fucking nut, bro. Okay? So I issue a challenge. Patrick, if you're out there, my good friend, come on the podcast. Come on the drive. You've been on a drive with us many times, maybe for number 15. I public decree. I'd love to chop it up with you and I'm sure.
This means I'm gonna have to talk to that asshole more than I already do.
That's what I mean. I haven't talked to that motherfucker in a long time. I kind of miss him, but you talk to him all the time, so it's not like
if I hear that guy's voice, my fucking trap seize up.
Oh, I mean, let's not be. I mean, if I've heard his voice a lot. Like there was a point where we were. It was like there was a point toward the end of my tenure when we were all still together where we would literally play like 3 songs and then he would talk for like the other 20 minutes. It's like short and sweet. And I would be like, I would turn on the feedback and still be talking and shit. We'd be like, oh, come on, we got a whole set list here, guy. But it's cool. So yeah, if you're feeling froggy, Patrick, jump and get a taste because we'd love to have you. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have so many questions I want to keep cutting through, but unfortunately, we're starting to fucking get time crunched.
Let's pick.
I think we're gonna have to call it on this one.
All right. Or we can ask one more.
Go for it.
Talk about guitar stuff, please. I know you really like to talk about guitar stuff.
Yeah, why? Oh, God.
Just,
I have a guitar. I play it occasionally.
Some of the guys on this Tumblr really like guitar stuff. Justin just broke a knob off my guitar. Speaking of guitar stuff, oh, you know how old that knob is? Yeah. I'd rather you break off my penis knob than that knob. God. It's okay. I'm not mad. I don't really care. It's beautiful that he's. Yeah, it's beautiful that he's fixing my guitar. I don't give a shit. I played a Gibson SGX with a Fender Rock Pro 1000 solid state amplifier and a. Remember that Yorkville cabinet I had, the Canadian cabinet, which I thought broke, which really just got disconnected, but I just wouldn't use it anymore. So I borrowed your Music Man for like 4 years. Mm-hmm. Andrew was a Music Man devotee, even though that shit sounded like, it didn't sound like, it was about as dependable as a car stereo. Yeah. It would sometimes sound really good, and sometimes sound like
sometimes not so hot.
No, it sounded like a fart through like a Walkman.
Still got it though. Still playing it.
Hell yeah, man. Good. It's probably a lot better. I would always, but hey, I dropped the solid state down the stairs. I dropped it in a puddle. Yeah,
that thing took a beating.
Crisscross the country. Still have it. It's in a basement now, in like a moldy basement right now. And I bet it would. I bet I could plug it in and make it work no sweat.
Yeah, most likely.
So it's a Warhorse. It cost me $100, and God bless. Don't bring your fancy shit on the road. Nobody's impressed. Mm-hmm. I know you like to have like a cock measuring. Oh, I've got an orange amp and a fucking Emperor cabinet and all of that. Just
this shit was $100. It weighs 6 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Go practice your high jumps instead. That's the shit people care about. Those motherfuckers do. Let's go to see that band. Those motherfuckers know how to jump.
They jump high. They've got a Beats sponsorship.
Yes. They have deeply personal, impactful lyrics that only I understand. It's amazing. Yes.
All right.
On that
this
note,
has been Overnight Drive number 13. Spooky 13.
Oh, my God. Be careful out there because Overnight Drive the 13th, some bad shit's going to happen if you listen to this. This is like bad. Mm-hmm. It's like breaking a mirror, motherfucker.
I walked past a guy who had his entire desk in a box as he walked home from work today, and I knew 13. It was very sad, very
Andrew,
scary.
I hope that's not you, man. I got.
No, put the fear of God into me, though. I started to work real hard.
Oh, I do that all the time now. I can't go back, man. Once I'm so close to that sweet, locked into that sweet forever job that I just, it'd be so nice to not have to look for a job anymore ever.
That corner office on the first floor.
I got a corner office on the first floor. It's looking at me. It looks at me every day. Parking in the A lot. Right now I got to park under the bridge. One day I want to park in the A lot and walk across the street instead.
I think you'll still park under the bridge, even if you get that A lot spot. The bridge is where you're comfortable.
It's also where I shed some blood.
You've anything to plug this week?
You didn't even get my Chili Peppers reference, dude.
What's that?
You didn't get my Chili Peppers reference.
Oh, you
gotcha.
Gotcha.
Jesus, what is this world coming to?
There's just so many Chili Pepper and fucking Aerosmith references that fly
Back
around here.
in the saddle and under the
One
bridge.
each in this episode, by the way.
Fuck. Yes, one for each bullet I'm going to put in my body. I always talk about killing myself, and one day there's just going to be Overnight Drive the Wake, and then it's just going to be like, hey, this is Andrew, it's really heavy, I'm at Hans's funeral because he fucking shot himself finally. Sean Duty's here. He looks bummed out, but he is also like worrying about like his stuff and shit too. It's really weird.
Good story to end on. The guy who invented nylon, the scientist,
Yeah,
was crazy and paranoid,
yeah.
and used to go around telling everyone that he had a poison pill, cyanide, in his back tooth, that when the Russians came to get him, he was going to take it and kill himself.
Wow.
And no one believed him. One day he did.
Holy shit!
Absolutely.
No
did have
shit.
The guy,
cyanide tooth.
the guy who invented nylon killed himself. That's awesome.
Wow. Fucking well, live and learn.
Thank you for giving me that awesome idea, because because I grind my teeth at night, so it might be like a short thing.
That's the way to do it.
Yes, I can't wait. I have a couple things to plug, Andrew. I've started a new blog called I Fucked Here.
I've seen I fucked it.
ifuckedhere.tumblr.com. Since I've had sex with a lot of people in a lot of different places, I figured that I'd use the power of Google Maps to take screenshots and then tell the story. I have some up right now, but if you'd like to follow and tell your weird friend about ifuckedhere.tumblr.com or /tumblr.com or what the fuck ever.
They'll find it.
Yeah, find it. I Fucked Here. And I've got like 5 or 6 up right now, including 2 prostitution stories. One good, one not
racy.
one not so good.
I read the not so good ones.
The
Today.
not so good one where I dumped hand sanitizer on my penis and balls in an alley in Germany because I was convinced I caught something. That's good. Of course, as always, youlooksad.com. Thank you for the increased traffic and also for the increased submissions. Feel free to submit anything. I'll put up anything, even if it's a 30-second video of you standing up and masturbating in your depressing room. This has been Overnight Drive 13, a spooky motherfucker.
Yeah, the spookiest. What do we got? Overnightdrive.com.
Yep.
Twitter, overnight_drive. We really neglect the fuck out of our Twitter. I'm switching that around. This week I'm going to tweet.
I just rejoined Twitter today. I'm going to tweet too.
There you go. Get on there, shit. We're gonna tweet. We're gonna turn off the thing that just reposts what we already posted, and it's gonna be all legit content.
We're gonna turn into real twits. It's gonna be awesome.
And and the Facebook, facebook.com/overnightdrive. You
Yep.
can get us at any of these places.
Oh, and also I've started listening to the band Cameo this week. If you go out and buy their whole album, Word Up, and listen to the song Back and Forth, it'll change your fucking life.
And that's your jam.
It's my jam this week. So,
That's it. Stuff the ballot box. Again, I keep saying it every week, and you motherfuckers don't listen. Stuff that ballot box.
Please.
Fucking leave reviews. Tell people. Come on.
Yeah, be cool.
Come on.
come on.
Come on.
Come
man.
on, assholes. Don't
be awesome.
Yeah, if you know, it'll all go away quickly if you don't if you don't see something and say something. We're just gonna peace out on y'all, and then you're not gonna get your old school fucking tour story fix. You're only gonna hear about the new shit.
You'll always wonder about our respective penises because you won't be getting the updates.
Yeah, exactly. Or how I fuck so many girls, dude. I mean, how would you, all this other shit. It's all there. So,
All right. We'll be back next week with 14. 14.
14.
That's a long-ass time.
14 weeks, man. Long-ass juice.
Not bad. All right. Be safe. Don't get fired. Don't do any sex offender shit.
Yeah.
And rejoin OkCupid. Let's cue the music.
All right.